Hi, Sarah Banas here, Learn to Craft. Today we're going to make something super fun. We're going to make money roll holders. These are incredibly easy and just a really fun way to give money as a gift. If this video is of interest to you or helpful, as always, like the video. That helps me out a lot, but also subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. When you're subscribed to my channel, you'll get notification when the new videos come out, probably once or twice a week. Just lots of ways to not only make really neat projects, but also learning how to design for yourself. So like I said, subscribe to my channel. You'll get notified when the new videos come out. So let's get started. These are so easy. One other thing real quick, actually. I'm going to link in the video description this design as well as a whole bunch of other designs that are similar, same concept, but for different occasions. I'll link that in the video description. I'm also going to link one of our Facebook groups. I'm going to link Cricut and Silhouette for Beginners. It's about 200,000 members, super friendly, super helpful. You'll fit right in, so join us there. Other than that, let's get started. So you can see the pieces that are cut here. This cardstock that I use is 65-pound Recollections brand. You can get it at Michael's or you can get it on Amazon. Those are the two sources I found for it. This is all I use pretty much. I use this and I use Cricut brand. I will link this in the video description as well. The nice thing about this is that, see how cleanly that cuts? It cuts really super clean. It's solid core, so there's no white in the middle, and it comes in a huge amount of colors, and super vibrant colors. So, and it cuts really well. So this is what I use. Okay, so let's get started. I use this for glue. Actually, there's two different types of glue I use. I use this for cardstock, and any stick glue. It doesn't have to be this brand. Any stick glue at all. And I've actually started using this recently, and this is really good too. But this is obviously more accessible, cheaper, easy to use. When you're using this, the only thing you have to be aware of is that it can be a little bit messy, so have some scrap paper available. Okay, so let's move this off to the side. Take this, and these are the layers for this part. This, 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 and then this. Okay, so let's first put, so that goes like that, and then this is the top layer, right? Yeah. So let's first put these two pieces onto here. Okay, so that and that. Put this on first. When you're working with this, you never want to go from the outside in, go from the inside out. When you go from the outside in, you're going to end up with like scrapings of glue around the edge. And another thing to be aware of is I did not grab two different ones of these, but if you can have a couple of these handy for each project, it helps because as the glue warms up, you'll get more on the edges. So as it, as you're using it, it gets a little bit, it warms up a little bit. So if you can have a couple available, that makes the process a little bit easier, a little bit less messy. Try to be careful also that you're not moving your piece around as you're gluing and getting the glue that's already on your piece of paper, your scrap paper, onto the front of it. This will dry mostly clear, but you can end up with a little bit of like shine to it. So you want to avoid that if you can. Not a huge deal if you don't, though. People expect with handmade that there will be handmade to it, right? If you can get off any little extra bits of glue that you get on there, if you can get those off early, that's better. I should have also grabbed a paper towel. It's nice to have something to wipe your hands off with, but I didn't. So, okay. Next step is to take this, and again, from the inside out. And make sure that you're tamping this down all the way while the glue is still wet. If you don't tamp it down well, you'll end up with like air bubbles in there when it dries, and that's not good. So make sure that you tamp it down all the way. You do have a tiny, tiny little bit of wiggle room there. Nah, we didn't have enough. You can see that I got a little bit on the edge there. I would have preferred it be a little bit more perfect, but such is life. Okay, and then this is the last layer of this one. From the inside out. Oh, okay, so I actually should not have gotten it on. That's something to be aware of. I should not have put it past that. I don't know if you can see, but there's a little mark there where this will get folded out. And I should not have gotten the glue on that part. So just be aware of that you don't want to get the glue on that. Yeah, I did actually do it, but it's not a huge deal. But easier if you do not. Okay, again, tamping it down really well. Tamping it down. Fold that up. Okay, so that is your first piece. Okay, so I'm going to put this off to the side. Fold that. Okay, and let's do this other piece real quick. Super easy. One thing I'll tell you is that when you are working with cardstock, when you're pulling your cardstock off of your mat, I should have brought one to my craft table to show you a mat that was still loaded with the paper, the cardstock, before I took it off. When you are taking it off of the cardstock, you never want to peel. When you peel, you'll end up with curled paper. See how flat most of my cardstock is? What I do is I hold it and I put my hand under the cardstock, in between the cardstock and the mat, and kind of shimmy it off, or peel the mat away from the paper instead of peeling the paper away from the mat. And that way it doesn't curl on me. Another tip I'll give you is when you are done cutting a layer that has small bits like this, would have left those circles behind on the mat. An easy way to get those circles off instead of having to pick each one is to take a flat, like an old credit card or a store card, and then just shimmy it, put your mat down, shimmy it right off. They'll fly right off there. Makes it super easy. When you're doing this, when you're making your layers, make sure that this side is flipped the right way. And the reason that is that this will be one side, this will be one side, and this will be one side. So these need to match up, flipped side to side. So if I accidentally put this, the purple, on this side, then when I went to put the back and the front together, they wouldn't match up correctly. See how the tops of the candles wouldn't be correct? So you got to make sure that you're doing that correctly, okay? So that's like that. I can't tell you how often I'll say things like that, and then I do it backwards after saying don't do this. So these designs, this designer just came out with these, and she has all kinds of super neat ones. So she has this birthday one, obviously, but then she also, see, I just peeled that away and I shouldn't have. She also came out with bridal shower. Which could be used for bridal shower or wedding. I think she has Hanukkah. Pretty sure she has Hanukkah and Christmas. Darn, see, I'm having a hard time. Hard time matching this one up correctly. I think she has Tooth Fairy. I'll link in the video description. I'll link all of them. She's got a bunch of good ones. I didn't get that exact, but that's okay. I don't want to peel it up again and have it be peeled. Okay, so then again, this will be folded the opposite direction the other one was folded. Okay, and then put this on. So the reason this one came out a little bit off, you could see when I put it on, I was holding it up like this. Don't do that. Lay it down and match it. Match up one side. If you match up one side perfectly, the rest will all fall exactly where it's supposed to. But you got to get that one side matched up correctly. There we go, like that. Okay, so there's our two sides. Okay, so now this will go back to back like that, okay? So we'll go ahead, let's adhere these together. Get that part done, and that part can sit while we put together the base. So I want to show you, remember how I said to have a couple of these available if you can. See how it's starting to, this is what I'm talking about, how it's starting to get more on the edges now that it's a little bit warmed up. It's better to avoid that if you can. It's better to just have a couple, and then, you know, it's not like you're wasting it. It'll re-solidify. You can just put it away and use it on your next project. It'll re-solidify on you, but with it being used for a bit, that's what happens. So, just a little trick that makes it a little easier. Let me go ahead and give myself a little bit of clean space here. Shimmy that down real good. Clean up the edges a little bit. Okay, so that's that part. Okay, so put this off to the side, and now we'll build our base. This is the middle part. 3 of these. So the 3, what that does is it gives you a little bit of sturdiness. I mean, you could use heavier weight cardstock for this part to avoid having to use 3. But the problem with heavier weight cardstock is that the heavier of the weight of cardstock you get into, the more tearing you're going to get. So 65-pound cuts perfectly, both on Cricut and on Silhouette. So it's just a little bit better to use the 3 layers and get a perfect cut than end up with kind of a, you know, a jaggedy kind of cut from using the heavier weight cardstock. So I actually should have gotten one more piece of scrap paper, but this is just going to have to do. Ooh, look at that, perfect lineup. Okay, that's good. Okay. Perfect, perfect. Okay, one more of this. We are very, very close to being done. You know, and I'll tell you this, I'll bet you anything, these would be incredibly popular at a craft show. And the nice thing with these at a craft show would be that, oh, making a little bit of a mess, would be not even just the sales that you would get from them, but one of the tricks to being successful at craft shows is having the ability to draw people's attention to your table. So obviously you're competing with all of the other vendors that are there, for a limited number of customers. And crowds draw crowds. So if you can have neat little things like this at your table, even if you sell 10 of them or 15 of them, you may have drawn 100 people to your table with them that then looked at other things and purchased other items from you as well. And that's the other nice thing with, you know, all the bright colors that you can do with these. Bright colors draw crowds. So see how that's heavier and thicker now? So that's perfect. So we can put that to the side. And now, next is 2 of this layer. Okay, and then 2 of this layer. Okay, and now assembly. Super easy. Again, with this, it has fold lines on it. Super easy. It's got like cut lines on the fold lines, so when you fold it, it'll automatically fold in the right place. So 2/10. Take this. And I have to clean off my mat afterwards. I'm getting glue on my mat. Okay. Let's put this off to the side. Let me see if I have one more piece of scrap paper. One more piece, that's all I need. Okay, so put this off to the side. Okay, now assembly time. Super easy. It's this. Okay, put this through first. Oops, put that through on the bottom. Oh, you know what? That's incorrect. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is put this on. Okay, so this is your layer for holding your bills. So you put that on first. Shimmy that up. It's going to be a little bit tight on this one because I did get those layers off by just a little bit. So closer you can get those layers to being perfect, the better. Move that up towards the top. Okay, and oops. And then this. Okay, and now open that up. Put the glue on that side. And just flatten that down to the bottom. Glue on this side. Flatten that down to the bottom. And then this is the base. Okay. So that's the base like that. Okay, and then these, you know, I should have cut, that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these are naturally set for right here. I'm going to put a set on the bottom also, just to stabilize it a little bit. You know, actually, I'm not going to. But you could. You could put a set on the bottom to stabilize it. The bills, once I put the bills in, that will also stabilize it. But because I overbent the bottom just a little, so you can see what I'm doing there. I'm putting this on here to stabilize this. Because I overbent the bottom just a little bit when I was, remember how I put the glue on and I shouldn't have. It's a little bit less stable than I would want it to be. When the glue solidifies, it will be completely stable. But what I could probably do to make it even more stable is just to add another set of those tents on the bottom. So all I would do is just cut a second set of tents. But that's really it. That is all there is to making these. These are super duper easy. Let's go ahead and roll a little bit of money and put that in there. When I'm rolling the money, I trying to get the glue off my hand so I'm not getting glue on the money. I like to put the this part of the money on the outside. So the front of the bill. And then just kind of roll it up. And if you want to, you can put like a little piece of tape on there or something to hold it. It's not really necessary. And then just kind of drop that down in there. I'm going to shimmy this down just a little bit so that the bill drops down to the bottom. Oh, you know what? It's not moving because I put those in. So before you put your tents in, put it into place where you want it. So this needs to be a little bit lower down. And I should have done that before I put those tents into place. Okay. But that's okay. That is okay. I'm actually going to peel this tent off of here and just move it down just a little bit. Because I need that down further. But that just always seems to be the case with crafting, right? You figure it out as you go. And like I said, this glue is super forgiving. So no harm, no foul. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to see where this needs to fall. And that needs to fall right about right there. And put my tent in. Oops. I'm going to re-glue this. Get out of there. And obviously you want to make sure that this is flat. And there we go with that. Excuse me. That in. And then, like I said, once the glue heals, then it'll all sit nice. But basically, that's all there is to it. These are super easy, super fun. And I think especially, I mean, I was going to say especially kids, but I think adults will love them too. And that's it. If you have any questions at all, you can ask in the video description below. Or better yet, ask right in the group. I'm always available for questions. Or if you ever need help with your machine. Like the video, like I said, that helps me out a lot. Subscribe to my channel. You'll get notifications when the new videos come out. There's a lot of really good ones coming up. We're midway through a design series that you are going to absolutely love. That's about it. I hope you have a good day. Bye.